In a dark, damp cell where the smell of rot filled the air, a man's spirit remained unbroken. Despite the grim surroundings, he held on to hope in a place where it seemed lost forever. Ken Saro-Wiwa, a warrior for justice, penned his final letters to loved ones, his words pulsing with a fierce determination. As he wrote, his mind flashed back to the moments that had led him here. Deep within the Niger Delta, a land of mesmerizing beauty and untold riches, the Ogoni people have thrived. For centuries, this resilient ethnic minority has cultivated the fertile soil, harnessing its abundance to sustain their communities. But beneath their feet lay a secret treasure, a coveted prize that would change their lives forever. The discovery of oil in the 1950s was hailed as a blessing, a golden opportunity for the Ogoni to rise from poverty. Yet, it soon became a curse, a disaster that would ravage their lands, destroy their way of life, and ignite a struggle for survival. In the 1970s, a toxic alliance was forged between Nigeria's government and oil giants like Shell. With the government's blessing, they exploited Ogoniland and their resources with reckless abandon. The Ogoni people witnessed as their lands were scorched, communities shattered, and future uncertain. While the military government and Shell feasted on the spoils, the Ogoni faced devastation, their very existence hanging in the balance. To make matters worse, on July 19, 1970, disaster struck. An oil wellhead erupted in a catastrophic explosion, unleashing a fiery inferno that spewed hot oil into the sky, casting a deadly shadow over the land. And in a matter of days, the very lifeblood of the Ogoni people, their water sources, farms, and air, was poisoned, leaving their land unrecognizable. The oil spill raged unchecked for weeks, contaminating every inch of land, water, and air. But this was only the beginning. Oil spills would continue to ravage Ogoniland for decades to come, culminating in a staggering 2.5 million barrels of crude oil seeping into the region's fragile ecosystem, forever scarring the land and its people. Watching the horror show happening in his hometown was Ken Saro-Wiwa, a celebrated writer and film producer known for his hit TV series BC and Company. The environmental and human rights atrocities committed by Shell and the military government ignited a fire within him. He took up the mantle of human rights activism and crafted the Ogoni Bill of Rights, which demanded autonomy, justice, and protection from the destructive grip of Shell. But the government, beholden to the oil giant, callously dismissed his pleas. In response to this, Ken Saro-Wiwa founded the Movement for the Survival of the Ogoni People, MOSOP, and began to organize peaceful protests. Decades of environmental devastation and government neglect had taken its toll on the Ogoni people. But in Saro-Wiwa, they found a new voice. With conviction and passion, he vowed to fight against the injustices that had destroyed their land. The crowd cheered loudly, unaware of the tragedy that will soon befall them. By 1993, Shell's oil operations in Ogoniland was disrupted by the protests, forcing Shell to halt its operations. However, this victory came at a steep price. Saro-Wiwa, now public enemy number one, faced the full fury of the military. The Nigerian government's response to MOSOP's protests was a brutal and merciless crackdown. They enacted a draconian decree, mandating death for anyone deemed a threat. The repression intensified as soldiers were deployed to Ogoniland with orders to shoot protesters on sight and incite tribal conflicts. In the following weeks, thousands of Ogoni were killed, raped, beaten, or arrested. The arrowhead of this massacre was none other than Major Okuntimo, who publicly claimed he knew more than 200 ways to kill a man, as the Ogoni were being silenced by the barrel of a gun. Tensions erupted in 1994, when Saro-Wiwa and other MOSOP leaders were seized from their homes and jailed for the murder of 4 Ogoni chiefs who opposed his activism. This was no ordinary arrest, but a calculated move in a deadly game of cat and mouse orchestrated by the ruthless Abacha regime. After enduring over a year of harsh imprisonment, isolated from his loved ones and legal counsel, he was eventually made to face a kangaroo court. The judges handpicked by the Abacha regime turned a deaf ear to Saro-Wiwa's impassioned defense. The more he spoke, the more determined they became to shut him down permanently.
No possibility whatsoever. I and MOSOP would never have planned any such action, and I will forever allow it, no matter what any forum decides to do. I appeal to you, my Lord, for only one thing. The Ogoni people have suffered tremendously in this country. They have made tremendous contributions to this country. Niger Delta itself is in serious trouble. We need every assistance that we can get.
The sentence came swiftly, death by hanging. Saro-Wiwa's heart pounded in his chest as the words echoed through the courtroom. But even in that moment, he felt no fear, only resolve. November 10th, 1995, dawned with a heavy sky. As Saro-Wiwa and the other 8 MOSOP leaders, now infamously dubbed the Ogoni 9, were led to the gallows, the world held its breath. Despite international pleas for mercy, the Nigerian government's thirst for blood would be quenched. As the noose tightened, Saro-Wiwa thought not of fear, but of the future he fought for, the Ogoni people, their land, their struggle. In a testament to his resolve, his final words were, "Lord, take my soul, but the struggle continues." And with that, he was gone. The execution sparked a global firestorm, leading to Nigeria's suspension from the Commonwealth and sanctions from the EU and US. Yet, the Abacha regime, fueled by oil wealth, continued its reign of terror, looting billions and leaving a legacy of corruption and bloodshed. In the years that followed, the oil-stained Ogoniland bore witness to new protests, new movements, and a renewed determination to reclaim what had been stolen. Ken Saro-Wiwa's story is one of the most tragic in Nigeria's history, a tale of a man who gave everything for his people and paid the ultimate price. If you found this story compelling, please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section.